at all and seen what what's the Willow ends up doing?
Oh, yeah, but she gets driven mad because someone killed her love and stuff.
No, that was before then.
It was before then, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
why they broke up for a little bit.
I'm just saying it could be that the women here they are called the wisdom after all.
I know, but
They're called wisdom. Maybe they have sense to use the power in moderation, unlike men who just go all out and go, oh.
maybe, but it's going to take me a while to kind of accept the women power kind of aspect of this world until I see more into what's actually happening there.
And look, she may not have the power at all. It may be that some other women have it or something. But yeah.
Anyway, after the little bit of scolding, Rand and Matt kind of get her up to speed. The Peddler's here. This is what he was saying, and the council have now taken him inside to properly question him. To which I love kind of a next comment being that what
Girl power.
they're probably asking all the wrong questions.
I better go in and assist them. Make sure it's going in the right direction. I love that.
And
see, wisdom.
Yeah. Right. So she disappears in, and not just before then, Rand realizes the wisdom that Nynaeve was not alone, but that his local crush Egwene was actually standing behind her.
And none too pleased with him.
Yeah. Also, kind of wondering a little bit what he was doing talking about the Dark One, but also.
I do find it amusing though that because he does mention that in previous comments that when she has had these moments before and he has had no idea what to do or how to fix it, and it's a classic sort of what do women want moment, because he would try not to be, as it were, dig a hole for himself, but it ends up being that no matter which way he goes, the hole ends up getting dug for him.
Yep.
It's kind of that classic a moment type thing to me. I think it's funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the how kind of tongue-tied and what do I say he gets around her.
Yeah, to try and make it so she's not unhappy with me.
And the first thing to come out of his mouth, "Will you dance with me?"
Oh, at the festival.
Yeah. It wasn't what he intended to say.
No.
But she says, "I'm busy in the morning, but I will dance with you in the afternoon," which I find that cool.
Yeah.
But then she kind of drops a bit of a bombshell on him, saying that she's training to become Nynaeve's apprentice, essentially become the next wisdom. And Rand is kind of questioning, why the heck are you doing that when she's no doubt going to be around? Because she's not too much, as far as age is concerned, she's about the same age Rand is, which I'm guessing, at least the sense I get is kind of equivalent to 20-ish, kind of mid-20s, early to mid-20s.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know how old he is specifically, but that's what I'm guessing he seems to be, the equivalent of.
I thought there was a reference to his age being 15 or something like that. 14.
No, not quite.
Oh, no, hang on. Was the youngest boy 14?
That's Erwin.
Okay, so, and they were a couple of years older than him, so he's got to be about 16.
Well, I'm guessing either
16,
late
17.
teens, early 20s is my kind of.
Yeah, okay. But he'd only been remember last year, he'd only just been recognised by the Peddler as a man.
Good point.
So
all right, so I'll go late teens.
Yeah.
I'll go late teens.
Yeah, he's still got to be like 17, 18, maybe just gone into, growing the beard and stuff. So he's still got to be quite young.
And the wisdom is around the same kind of age, which...
No. I think she's a little older.
Older.
His crush is the same age.
So would the wisdom be, say, early 20s?
Wisdom's got to be early 20s, yeah.
Okay. Having fun talking about ages here, trying to guesstimate them. So, yeah. And with the wisdom being in her early 20s and,
still quite young.
Still quite young and still having quite a long life ahead of her, Rand is wondering
Why?
why Egwene is training under her at such a young age. I mean, what's the point?
Not to mention the fact that they're not too far apart in their age, and so will grow up old together, kind of thing. And so there's really no point in training up another wisdom about the same age when they're probably both going to die around about the same time.
Not only that too, but it also breaks his heart a little bit because wisdoms are always single.
Are they?
Yeah,
I didn't read that part.
I did. No, I did. I picked up on it.
Okay.
That wisdoms, don't get married.
Okay. I didn't pick up on that.
I did.
Okay.
Trust me, as a guy, hearing that the woman of your dreams is going to be perpetually out of your reach is like...
Okay, fair enough.
Been there, done that. Fortunately, the woman I got is also the woman of my dreams that was very much in my reach. Thank you, dear.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes.
There was someone in your reach that wasn't in your reach before?
Oh, there was many people not in my reach before.
Oh, okay.
Yes, many a person rejected me. But anyway.
Moving on.
Yes. But anyway, so Egwene tells him that after I've been trained up, it's possible I might go to another town. I might leave here and go be a wisdom elsewhere because other places do tend to take wisdoms from outside their own circles to make sure they're impartial. Or
she might leave and she stay, vice versa with wisdoms.
And again, this does break, does hurt him because
it does shock him, yeah.
Because was looking forward to having a life with Egwene.
Not necessarily. He may just have, it's just a shock because he figured that, it would be safe to potentially imagine and dream about it because there was already a wisdom.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that that's what he planned to do.
Let's just say burst bubble.
It's a burst bubble of imagination of possibilities, which are now definitely, solidly no longer possibilities.
No, I wouldn't say solidly yet, but certainly they've been pushed much more in that kind of a direction. But I don't know what could happen.
She's in training, so there's a possibility she might stop the training.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be able to manage to do it successfully or whatever. Yes, but that's the burst bubble.
And reality's starting to sink in a little bit. While this conversation between Rand, I also kind of get the feeling that he's probably not going to be around the town much longer himself anyway. Because it sounds like he's definitely going to be at the centre of a part of this adventure, and it definitely doesn't stay within the small little village that he's grown up in all of his life. And the farm, obviously, it's gonna explode at some point and venture out into the world. So he may not end up being there himself. Now,
I made you lose your train of thought, didn't I?
Yeah, only slightly, but that's also because I'm just looking for one other...
We were talking about his burst bubble. Does that put you back on track?
Okay, this is the line that I was looking for. Is that he's... during this conversation with Rand and Egwene, the other two, Matt and Perrin, have gone, stepped aside for a little bit, talking amongst themselves. And so Rand is, makes a comment that, Egwene makes a comment that, well, maybe I'm strange too. Maybe I want to see some of the places I hear about in the stories. Maybe I want to, have my own adventure, as it were. And Rand replies, of course I have. I daydream sometimes, but I know the difference between daydreams and what's real. And I do not, she said furiously. And here he is, he's put his foot in a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, the classic digging a hole for himself, no matter what he says.
And this was not the first time she has squeezed meanings from his words that he never knew were in them. Guys, To whatever guys are out there listening, we are all too familiar with that syndrome.
Say one thing and it means something entirely different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We never, whatever meanings, and I don't mean any offense to the women who are listening to this, but whatever, we generally do say what we mean. It is the women...
You better hope not, because sometimes you've said some things that are pretty bad. I didn't mean it like that, you would say.
And see, this is exactly how it starts.
You dig the hole for yourself. No matter which way you say it or how you say it. You dig the hole. You started it.
And there's no way to stop yourself from digging without finding China first. So
depends. If you
Rand...
come home with flour and chocolates, it usually fixes the hole a little bit.
Sometimes not even then.
Maybe.
Depends how deep the hole is.
That's true. It does. Better bring home some big pounds of chocolate. A chocolate bar is able to be sticky taped together to fill the hole.
And anyway, so Rand knows that, because Egwene's starting to storm off a little bit at this point, but he manages to stop him. And he also knows that the next words out of his mouth he needs to choose very carefully, otherwise he's going to dig himself into an even bigger hole. But before he can actually say anything, Matt and Perrin come running on over.
Which is probably wise, because as you know, there is no way he's going to be able to stop digging after he started.
I would tend to agree. It's like Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
As it was. Thank you very much.
Saved by the mat.
The classic prankster actually being a saviour for once. Wow. Anyway, and Matt's telling Rand that Perrin has also seen this Black Rider. And so Matt is starting to ask some questions. Where do you see him? What did you see? Etc. Trying to get
How'd you feel?
Trying to get the details. And Egwene is looking at them. What are you guys on about? And so Rand was a little hesitant to tell her, but Matt just launches right on him.
Oh, no. He didn't want to tell her at all because he knew exactly what she would say. He stepped right back here. He didn't want to have the hole dug any further.
You guys are nuts. Who told you that?
Yeah.
Rand. Sorry. Anyway, so Matt goes and launches in to tell Egwene what's happened, all about the rider, who's seen it, what they've seen, how they felt, and the whole spiel.
She basically calls them loons and looks at him like, I cannot believe you encouraged this. Yes. Digging the hole further. See, I told you. It didn't matter what he said.
Only a little. But fortunately, someone else he's managed to deflect attention for a little bit. Slightly.
No, because he puts him right in it by saying Rand.
Oh, yeah, good point.
We're not the only ones. Rand saw it too.
And shortly after that, conversation, a white-haired man comes bursting out of the inn. And that there is the end of the chapter.
I'm assuming that's the Gleeman. Because we haven't seen the white-haired man bursting,
True.
My guess is that's the Gleeman.
I'd say that's a fair guess. I mean, given the fact that the next chapter is entitled The Gleeman.
Oh, well, there you go. See, I didn't read that.
Yeah.
I didn't cheat. I didn't move on ahead.
Well, I haven't cheated. I only look at the chapter heading for the next chapter. That's it. I don't look at anything else. So I can just add on the podcast.
Sure.
Please note that the next chapter that we'll be talking about is
The Gleeman.
Yes. So,
the storyteller, as it were.
This chapter has been, very informative in terms of what's going on in the world, what's happening, in
the town. Well, and I also note that it is going extremely slowly. We haven't even gotten to the festival yet, so it's a lot of build up.
Yes, there is. I mean, we're 3 chapters or possibly 4 chapters into it.
And we probably still won't get to the festival.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to deliberately not refer to the table of contents or anything, so I don't know what chapter is coming.
They finally actually get to go on the adventure. I suppose.
Or what the adventure
I'm a little
is.
more used to by now the book being in some sort of explosion, adventure, running, chasing type moment. Like with although I have to say, when you do read the Lord of the Rings,
Oh, that's a bad example for that.
no, it isn't, because it takes forever for him to leave the Shire.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad example for
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I kind of get the feeling that no, it's not, because I kind of get the feeling that
It's
this
a good
is going to be a
example.
similar book.
It's a good example of what this is doing, and not having here's that the key moment when adventure starts happening.
Yes.
It's more of a bad it's a bad example of that. It's a good example of delayed. Yeah, okay, fine.
I said I'm too used to books, being all run and explosion. It's a little bit like that book.
Admittedly, I am liking the pace on this one a little bit, though, because it is setting up the world more. It's setting up the local world. I've been given a local legend in terms of dragon that.
It's not a local legend. It seems to be a well-known, like, nation's.
True,
legend.
but we've been given. Well, rephrase, not local, but we have been given a legend that that
it's well-known in nations, plural.
But and that people seem to think is really negative, because in terms of the dragon and what he's done, and who he represents.
Well, no, not who he represents. More a case of what happens as a result of him being around. Because as a result of the dragon being reborn and him actually coming out, it means that the Dark One and the Blight is going to hit the world in a pretty bad way.
And essentially all hell break loose.
Yes, so it's not so... I don't think it's so much him. It's more a case of...
what he represents.
What he represents in what's going to happen.
And the dire straits of the world.
Yes, it's not so much him per se as what's going to happen as a result of him being reborn.
Agreed. And we've also been given some more kind of character development happening here, in terms of we've actually finally met Egwene. I mean, so far she's only been talked about as Rand's crush, but we've now got to see what he's, a little bit anyway, of what he's like around her and the kind of person that she is. I do like what we've seen so far of her personality. That she's got.
I enjoyed her very much.
She's got this kind of cheekiness to her. She loves handing Rand a shovel that he can dig himself a hole with. As
he does that all on his own.
I know, she hands him the shovel.
No, she did not hand him the shovel. He dug that all on his own.
No, he was handed the shovel.
She told him that she was going to be the next wisdom, and he said, "Are you crazy?" He did the shovel himself. Did you just love it?
You should see the look on my face at the moment. Anyway.
You just know you got nothing to come back with.
And yeah, so with the next chapter being entitled The Gleeman, I'm sure that we're going to get introduced to him and find out what kind of person he's like. If it is this grey-haired madman who's just come storming out of the inn, there's any number of possibilities there. I mean, could just be silver hair, but he could be a young man, but he seems to have been someone who's been around for a while based on previous comments, so I'm guessing he's at least middle-aged.
And obviously slightly rude because he came in the middle of the night and stuff.
Yeah, well, it could just be that that's how long it took him to get there.
True.
It couldn't be.
Or it could just be that his station is, or it may be that his station is of a little importance and.
Oh no, I think it's more of a case he wanted to avoid attracting attention before he was ready for it.
Possibly.
I mean, unlike the peddler who was happy to accept the crowd's attention the moment he walked into town, the Gleeman seems to be the kind of person, at least, mind you, not having read anything, this is purely based on comments that and assumptions right now. He seems to be the kind of person he'll take the crowd when he's ready for the crowd, not before. Possibly. Maybe. It's a thought.
But the fact that he's a Gleeman, which is a storyteller, means that he actually should enjoy the crowds.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, if you look at actors and celebrities today, there are some out there who enjoy the limelight when they're ready for the limelight, but then they just want to be left to their own devices when they're not.
But no, I'll get that in the personal life. But it's just more a case of he could, maybe it's just that he's so old and he's told the same stories over and over again. He's kind of getting a bit bored with them.
Well, there's that possibility too. But all these and more accurate assumptions to be on the next episode of A&K's Wheel of Time, podcast commentary review that we're doing. Also, please note, we also just want to thank those who have been enjoying our podcast so far. This is the second podcast that I myself am doing. I've also got a Star Trek review that I'm doing, which you're welcome to kind of look up. It is Abe's complete Star Trek commentary for those who want to listen to that. And we can be contacted. And I do like the fact that it's this Wheel of Time one that's actually getting more listens. So thank you, those who are listening to it. If you do want to leave reviews on the Apple Store, please do so. Also, we can be contacted on my Twitter feed at warrior346 or by email warrior346@yahoo.com. Please remember to keep your comments constructive. We do appreciate any and all feedback that that comes through, and you will take any kind of comments on board so that we can continue to improve this podcast to be one that you enjoy listening to. Once again, thank you very much for your time, and may the Wheel of Time keep on spinning.